We're out of the tent. Everything's pretty much stowed away in the Brecon in there. It's just the tent and a few more extras, and we're ready to strike, or pack up as I used to call it. V's slowly dismantling her tent, and we woke up to a lovely view. It's beautiful, isn't it? And I think what we might try and do, just to make it different, is we're going to head off in that direction where the woods are, and set up in there. So we've got the best of both worlds. We've done one night camping in the hills, and they are amazing hills, by the way. But what you're seeing, it doesn't do it justice. I mean, the only way I can see it is if you look at the sheep on the top of that ridge up there, the size of them, it really does give you a scale of how vast this place is. And to be pretty much set up on, well, a half decent flat surface, it's a bit tricky because when I surfed years ago, we used to call these babies' heads. Very, very treacherous to do exercise on, because you could easily trip over, turn your ankle. Very, very dodgy, but the whole place is covered in babies' heads. And it's quite boggy because the water naturally runs down from the mountain there and just comes down there. All of the surrounding area is going to be moist, shall we say, so it's quite boggy underfoot. But where we've camped, it's not too bad. There's a few places where you put your foot down and you get like an inch of muddy water just rush over your toe caps. It's proper squishy. But no, we've done well. We found a good spot, and it's interesting really because we both had our heads up the top end, as you should do. You never sleep with your head lower than your feet, because you just get bad headaches. It's not good at all. And there was a few times in the night where the sleeping bag very slowly slid down, and my feet end was touching the interior of the end of the tent. Now, because of the condensation issues, because it's single skinned, the bottom of the sleeping bag got wet, but luckily because I got the Corinthia Defence 4, the outer is showerproof. So the bottom, I don't know, 10 inches of the bag was wet on the outside, but inside was completely dry, so that's great. And I've just missed the chance to show V's idea. And what V's idea was the two trekking poles. She spaced, what, 6 foot apart or so. She just hung a sleeping bag between them to air out. It's a great idea, V. I mean, I'm going to try that next time.
Chuck it over, what,
yeah. Because we're
exactly.
Because when you think about it, you know, I'm so used to doing all my training, as it were, in the woodland, and you've got untold resources to hang things and to do things and shelters, but out here you've only got what you've got with you. So yeah, a bit of thought, and you can get away with it because all of the ground and the grass is sodden wet, and the inside of the tent's sodden wet with condensation. But it is what it is. Well, I'm just borrowing one of these titanium pots, and I must say, I couldn't believe the weight of it. I'm going to have to really seriously rethink my kit. But yeah, I think it's safe to say it didn't take long for that to boil. Whew. Yeah, coffee, the most important meal of the day, and it is a meal. Oh, the smell. Oh, it's like Starbucks in here. Oh. And the sun has come up. It was a glorious sunrise. Well, I've time-lapsed it, so you're going to see that. I'm on my other camera now. I'm just going to film what I can. And yeah, these little gas stoves are great. I've bought my backup Swedish gel burner. Never used it before, so we'll see how we get on. Because I might have to loan V some of the gas from this can, and we might have to use the gel burner later. We'll have to see. But these pans, I don't know who makes this pan, V. Who makes this titanium pot?
I wouldn't recommend it because of that lid.
Snow Peak. Yeah, not recommended because the lid.
You'll see, if you put it on, it doesn't look too
Oh right, yeah, on the outside and it drips down. Oh yeah, I can see. It's not that good. Wow. Truly it's great to be alive, people. It's incredible. It's coming up to 09:45. And I was just saying to V earlier, it's unlike me to be up and ready at this time. Usually I like to stay in my pit, for want of a better expression, to about this time. Then it's going off for a shovel recce, coming back, completely stripping down, having a wash, clean dry clothes on for the day. And once that's done, then coffee goes on, breakfast goes on. Once that's all done, that's got to be washed and cleaned up and squared away, along with your sleeping bag, your inflating mat, your film equipment, etc, 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 all gets stowed away. And you know, you could wake up and get out of your pit at 9:30, and it could be about 10:11 before you're ready to seize the day. So to be ready at this stage is spot on. It's great. I would dearly love to do all of the 3 summits, but the way my legs, not a chance. It's such a shame. I'm gonna have to really rethink this kit, really, because you know, this is the first time for me doing something like this, and yeah, when you're considering walking with a heavy pack, you've got to be very, very, very fit, seriously fit. I mean, we saw guys with a Brecon running up the slope to get to Corndu from the car park at the bottom. But yeah, he was in pain, but he kept going. And but no, I'm not really fit, and I don't think most of us are, if we're honest. Speak for yourself. Speak for yourself. Well, if I had a manual job, I'll be fine, but I'm sat down most of the time, and you know, I only walk my dogs, and that's it for me. But yeah, so it does make you really think and consider about the kit that you're carrying in your pack. I mean, I really wanted to go lightweight, but I'm so in love with my BCB Crusader mug and heavy lid, and that weighs quite a lot, just than that. But what I really want to make happen one day, and it would be an absolute dream for me, is to find someone or a company or something get made. You know the 58 pattern plastic water bottle that the NATO use, and the BCB Crusader mug and the heavy lid. If you can get exactly the same as that, but all made in titanium, can you imagine that? That would be it for me. That would be perfect. I mean, that is bomb-proof kit, because of the shape and the design, how it all fits together. But to have it in titanium, excellent, really, really cool. I mean, the water bottle is great, but being plastic, it's limited. You can't boil in it, etc. So that would be cool. And then, you know, all sorts of things I'm learning about doing this sort of thing where I am at the moment. It really is a lot of it all about learning, and so much so the backpacker's pantry dehydrated food. Now, after consuming that was 2 portions, 640 calories, which is pretty good. Didn't weigh much. It needed 600 mils of water, which is quite a lot. Okay, and water's heavy. But what I realised is the little plastic spork I had didn't get to the bottom without it all getting mucked up and gunky. So the only way I can get my way around it was to scrunch the bottom and push the food up near the top so I can eat it that way. And that worked for me. I got around that. But again, it's learning, you know. You don't know these things to, you know, you're in a situation and you're forced to think your way out of it and to get by. But yeah, you know, the tent weighs quite a bit. Everything weighs quite a bit, to be honest. I mean, Fee, she let me use a titanium pot, which you saw earlier. And when she handed me, I couldn't get my head around it. There was something big in my hand, but it didn't weigh anything. It weighed like 2 cigarettes. It's ridiculous. You know, compare that to my BCB pot with the lid. Man, you can get probably about 80 of those and it'll be the same weight as mine. It's just ridiculous, you know, the stuff that's out there. What else? There's the walking poles, fantastic. I would never have done it, as I said, without them. And they're actually propping up my tent, so there's no need to bring those little aluminium Lavu pole sets. So that's saving more room and more weight. So yeah, it's all a learning curve. As I say, it's the first time I've ever gone out in the hills. I just love being in the woods, there's materials, etc. But out here, if you ain't got it, you ain't got it. You see it down there. Mate, you can't stop people smiling in a place like this. It's beautiful. Need to go over this quickly. The tent there. Now, originally we did plan to come out here and to the second night camp on the peaks where you could potentially get very high winds. Now, it did concern me somewhat that the tent needs to be securely anchored to the ground, because the last thing I want to do is to just get blown off the top. And you've seen earlier the contours of where the shear drops are, and you'd never survive that. So I've done some looking around for some tent pegs. Now, I just put into eBay lightweight, strong tent pegs, and loads of expensive, you know, titanium and aluminium things cropped up. But I don't know, it was something about the design. It just looked, you know, 6 inches deep. Was it enough to really hold down a tent in potentially 80-mile-an-hour winds? So I don't know. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. As I say, I'm not experienced this, so I've got no idea really. So I contacted a friend of mine, Paul, up in Sunderland. Bless him. Now, his name used to be the Mus28. Now he goes under the name of Rickety Man Films. Alright, Sunshine, he put me onto these Delta ground anchors, or ground pegs if you want to call them that. Now, I can't believe it, the weight of these, there's nothing at all, okay? The only drawback is their size. The points needed to peg that tent down, I think it's 14 or 16, so that's a lot of pegs. So, realistically, is it worth taking 14 of these out considering the size? So I've done a compromise, okay? The two main poles guide out here, I don't know if you can see them. I've got a delta peg there and on the other side. On the central points of the side, I've guided out with 2 of these as well, so I've got 4 of these in total. Found them on eBay, they're about like £1.30 each, very, very cheap. But they do cost, I think, £3.90 something post and packing. Whether you got 1 or 100, it'll always be £3 something. So that's purely because of the size and the packaging they come in, the post service. It is what it is. But they're very, very easy to use, and they hardly flex. And they're a great design. And the idea is you put your guy line through here, obviously. And as you put it in, you put it in like this. It sits into the ground, so this is flat to the ground. So it's easy to see, being yellow, It's easy to grab under the grass and you just pull it up like this and it just pings off. Very, very good bit of kit, and so far, okay, we haven't had high winds, but so far I've been very, very impressed by the weight of it and the ease of putting them straight into the ground and taking them out. So yep, if any of you guys have never heard of these before, it's a UK based company. You might see it on there, you might not, but that's where it says. Okay, now I bought these at my own money. I'm not promoting them, I'm just telling you from my perspective it's a great bit of kit. So thanks for that, Paul, for putting me onto there, mate. And one of the reasons which made me want to buy these is Paul, when he went camping, he got some expensive tents and he went up on some hilltops and he recorded 85.5 miles per hour on his Kestrel altimeter, which is a wind speed measurement device.
That looks like a bloody whirlwind of form. Crazy, absolutely crazy. 85 mile an hour winds. 85 mile an hour winds.
And his tent made it with ease. So for less than £2 each, well worth a shout. Okay, so yeah, nice one. Thanks for that, Paul. And these are the basic tent pegs I use to do everything else with. Now, I bought these a long time ago for use of when I had my allotment, to secure all of the nets for me brassicas, and forgot I had them, so it saved me a few bob buying some new ones, but they've done the job quite well, considering where we are. I'm not sure how these would fare when it's on the peaks where it's stony and rocky. I'm not sure, but they've done the job down here, and I counted them all out and I counted them all back. And also it's great to just inspect underneath to see if there's any holes or any damage. It's fine, thank God. The bottom is rubberised, so it's kept all of the water off. It still amazes me how that French army tent can fold up in a little pack like this. It's incredible, it really is. Mine seems to be different than the other French ones for some reason. I don't know why. I was told to pick one out of about 8 or 9, and I just went through the box and I just found one that happened to be in the best condition, as you would. And you know, I set it all up and everything, and it wasn't until I was watching other people's videos on the French tent. Now, they seem to have a fly sheet, this one doesn't. The material seems to be different. It's a whole lot lighter. This is 1.8 kilos, without the poles and the pegs. It's got one entrance at one end, and yeah, it just seems different. So I'm not sure if anyone knows anything about the French tent, and why there's 2 entrances, why there's 1 entrance, why one's made of a lightweight material, one isn't. Also, they're available in canvas as well, which is probably not good for a place like this because of the weight. If it gets wet and you pack it, it's double the weight, it's very heavy. So, yeah, not too bad at all. The only problem I had was condensation on the inside. I suspect you get that from all tents. But leaving it pitched up in this glorious sunshine with some wind, just give it a tap to get the condensation off of the roof onto the floor, and the heat just evaporated it and it's bone dry now. So now I know when I set up camp next, I'm going to have a nice dry tent, not wet, damp and smelly, mouldy, etc. But yeah, a jungle army issue sleeping bag, compression bag is what that is, if anyone doesn't know. Highly recommended. Pick them up on the internet for around about £5. Well worth their weight. Right, here we are again, we're out in the field, and I thought we've got a bit of time to kill because V's just gone to get some water so we can purify to take on our travels. While I'm waiting for her to return, I thought I'd mention this. Now, these have been branded as a survival shovel for the reasons I thought it was quite cool. The top comes off and you can store stuff in there. It's very lightweight, very strong, and until it snapped clean off. Now all I've done, while I went for my shovel recce this morning, early doors, dig your little hole as you do, and I was just sort of digging around to make them a big square suitable. And the second I went like this to prise up the turf, it just broke clean off. Now I'm just giving you the heads up. I bought this out of my own money and not been paid by anyone, but I do not recommend anyone buy these. Okay, they're shit. Alright, you don't want to be taking this out, relying on it, and then that happening. I mean, this is the first time I've ever used it, it's brand new. It cost about £6, something like that. Pete Wiseman's got a very good, lightweight, hard plastic trowel. So I'm going to have to tap him up to see where he got that from, because this, quite frankly, just isn't up to the job at all. Useless. Right, we're all packed up now. The ground area where we were is all squashed down. We've double checked everything, we haven't left anything behind, because it's so easy. It's so easy to just put your sunglasses down somewhere or your car keys, you walk off, and the chances of coming back to exactly the same spot is very, very unlikely. So really do just give it just a couple of 5 minutes, not long, and double check everything. And we're all ready for the off, mate, aren't we?
Absolutely, we're all caffeined up.
Yeah, we certainly are, mate. I'm Java lava to the max, and we're just going to run all the way down. And even if you stop, you can't help yourself. You'll keep going with all the weight on your back. So yeah, we're going to head off to the right of that reservoir and that tree line there. Sorry if it's a bit shaky, it's not on the tripod. Just to give a little recce around there. So we're going to leave this beautiful spot, and who knows, mate, one day we could come back here again.
Yeah.
Albeit it's a little bit boggy, but when the sun come up, which I missed, I time-lapsed, but it's supposed to be amazing.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, someone saw it, didn't you? I was doing my admin by then. Right, okay then, stop waffling, let's get cracking. Well, as you can see, we're not too far from the reservoir RV, and to say the terrain was somewhat arduous getting to this point is a massive understatement. It was very slow and very tough going. Yeah, some of the extreme places where it's very, very boggy, long grass coming up to your waist, and you put your foot down, and you know the top of the grass was up to your shoulders. It was really tough, and you really have to watch where you're going. You turn your ankle out here in this heat with no water and no one can see you, you are in serious trouble. So, as I said, and I probably will keep mentioning because it's very important, you really do not underestimate places like this. Hey RV, look at the horizon. There's a paraglider.
Oh yeah. Oh, I go with him yesterday. Wow, that's going to be an amazing view.
I'd say.
Would you like a cup of tea?
Oh yes please. Fantastic. And we've just been trekking all the way from back on the yonder over there, and we traversed along this way and come down to this point, and V noted these two rocks, the only rocks for a long way actually, and it's a nice little place. I mean, you look down there, it's shaded, you could put a basher over the top to keep the elements off. It's great, and lots of flat surfaces to cook on, to lay down and look up at the stars, etc. So yeah, we're going to take 5 and have a spot of lunch before we crack on to find a decent harbour area amongst all of those trees there. Well, some of you are probably wondering what this little pouch is, which I've fitted to the front of my belt on my Brecon. Now this was sent to me by K Jumper 1, retired US Marine. Now he done some research on this, and what these are actually pouches for night vision equipment. So they're very, very well made, padded. As you can imagine, you don't want your night vision getting damaged, but it's quite handy because it's Powell's Molly, and it just goes over the belt there, no problem at all. But for a water container, it's excellent. You've got a separate little pouch there, which you put your water purification tablets in, and it just so happens that the old the water filter, where is it, goes straight inside there, piece of cake. So all we're doing is we're walking along, unscrewing the top, just filling it up from wherever water sources we can, screw it back on, squirt a bit out, and just drink on the move. And it's great because it means it doesn't have to carry too much water, you just get it as you go along. And if any of you people are concerned, there is a hell of a lot of water out here. Stay away from the top 1 to 150 metres. It's some up there but very sparse, but below that waterline it's everywhere. Every 20 feet you'll see little streams and puddles, so you've got no problems about purifying water in a place like this. Well, we just had some lovely lunch and a bit of drink, and it's just so nice just to kick back and scan the horizon. It's just amazing. My God! Well, after doing many kilometres of walking in hot weather, I couldn't resist it. I've got me damp socks, airing on the outside, under the brilliant sunshine. And it's the plates of meat. Oh! Oh, that is ice cold water. Oh, that really is a relief. This place is idyllic. It seriously is. Yeah, I'd like to come back here again one day. And if any of you people have actually camped here before, or have been here before, now you understand what I'm saying. Of course, we're going to leave no trace. No one's ever going to know we've been there apart from the footage of this video, which is how it should be. Oh, I can feel the kilometres of hot walking just ebbing away. Well, after chilling out by the creek there, oh mate, honestly, you just didn't want to get up. It is so relaxing, it's amazing. But while we're here and we've got some daylight, we're going to quickly go over some bits of kit and equipment. Some of you guys are probably wondering what that big orange panel is. Now, these are issued to Special Forces on selection, especially when doing Brecon. There's not going to be any labelling on there, but all it is some green webbing which has been sewn on, and you just clip it to your PLC Brecon, which you're going to be doing your selection in. Now, this happens to be a Vulcan 2 Brecon by Berghaus, and I just had to think outside the box and put some carabiners just quick and easy, quick release to clip it on there. So I can unclip it and fold it over the back, and it's out of the way. Now I'm showing this because what I'm going to do is I'm going to unclip it and I'm going to fold it out of the way, because we don't want really people knowing where we are. And you can see there for literally miles. It really does do a fantastic job, high vis. So yeah, in case you're wondering, that's what that is. The second piece of kit was kindly given to me by Steve Sasbo. Had it for a while. This is the first time I've ever taken it out, and I'll tell you what, it's really paying dividends for a camp solution with water. It's a Nalgene, so it's good quality, and it's not going to make your water taste like plastic, which is excellent. It's a 96 ounce size, as you can probably see there. It's got a nice big wide neck. So all we've been doing is unscrewing it and just scooping up loads of water from the stream. And with that big ring there, you can just hang it onto branches, carabiners, etc. And all we do is we just decant that into our filter bottles and filter it through and just been using it. And it weighs nothing, it really doesn't. It's a great bit of kit. And I've always been a bit sceptical about things like this, because I've been worried about it being folded and stressed over time and punctured and leaking. But mate, for its first outing, it's really coming to its own. So highly recommend them. And I think we should get on with some firewood now. Once we've got that ready, we ain't got to worry too much when it's dark to get a fire going. And that's all we've been doing, literally. It's just find any water source. It doesn't have to be amazing like this, it doesn't really matter. Just scoop up as much water as you can get in there. And obviously the more running it is, the better. You can just hold it up and just take what you need. That looks good. You thirsty? Oh yeah, there you go. Right, we're looking for some deadwood now, and there's quite a bit of it around here. So we're going to be scavenging and using some deadwood for our fire. Now, you don't really need a saw. Sometimes you can just pick it off. It's nice and dry, it's all good. And we get a lot of prominent wind along here, so that's been drying nicely. So, sort of thing like that is ideal. Well, we've just kicked that lump off. And as you can see, there's loads of bark and moss on there. So you want to try and get all that off. Now just give it a rub with my hands and my gloves on there. And another thing, always make sure that when you're handling wood, always try to remember to put gloves on. It's so easy to get carried away and get splinters. It could turn nasty, okay? So we're using the K-bar, nice and light. Should be just alright for this sort of work. And we're just going to be removing all of the wet stuff and the damp stuff, because you don't want that burning. It's just going to create a lot of smoke, and as I might have mentioned earlier, we don't really want loads of people knowing where we are, just in case we're told to move on. So we're just using up the dead stuff, which is it's no longer use to anything or anyone. The only thing this is going to be useful for is a few insects, but a few of these taken is not going to ruin anything. And it's the same rule, always cut away from it, okay? My leg's not over here, always keep it out of the way. I've got this and my leg behind, so there's no risk of any injuries, alright? So we're just going to crack on and just process this down so we can burn this later on when the fire's more established. Right, here's a little tip. You see we got some blackened areas around here. Now, anything black is very useful. If you are lighting a fire using a magnifier glass and you're focusing the beam, anything, say for example you're using cotton wool and you break it apart, fluff it up to expose the surface area of which you're going to be heating up to ignite. Anything black, it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's an old cigarette butt, the black bit at the end, anything like this, sprinkle it around it. Now what that will do is the light will be focused to burn the black material first. It will attract the heat and it will ignite faster, and it actually does work. You can even use a black felt tip pen on cotton wool and it will catch faster, okay? birch polypore. Well, I spoke about this before in other videos, but that is a really good specimen and a good size. And there's lots of them on this bit of deadwood. So we're going to remove that. Now all we're going to do is we're going to slice that as straight as we can with our knife and just leave it to dry for about 4 or 5 days. Once it's dry, it weighs nothing at all. It's quite spongy and watery at the moment because of its moisture water content inside the fungus itself. When it's dry, you can strop your knife with it. And at this stage, because it's nice and moist, you can cut strips off of this, remove the top piece. Underneath you've got some nice white meaty flesh. You just pull them off as strips about the same size as a plaster or a band-aid, and you just wrap it around your finger that's bleeding. And it's got antiseptic and it will clean up your wound a lot faster. Very, very versatile bit of kit that, so we're going to be using that soon. There's some other fungus there, bracket fungus maybe, but there's quite a few on this dead tree. As you see, it's completely dead. And a little baby one there, there's more of them. So we're going to leave that to establish and grow, should be fine. Right, we've got our polypore now, and as I said, it is quite spongy and quite heavy because of the moisture in there. Now we're just going to try and cut off as straight and as clean as we can. Don't rush this, try and take your time, okay? As I say, you're really interested in a nice straight clean cut. Now, what you got there, can you see the texture on there? Well, in time as it dries out, that's going to become nice and firm, like a really, really dense polystyrene or polyurethane, I think you guys in America call it. And yeah, once it's dried out, you just strop your knife, as you always do when it's dry. It's fantastic, it really does work, and I've used it before and I can vouch for it. And you can see this stuff growing on any deadwood, mainly birch and beech is quite common. But yeah, highly recommend that stuff. And when it does dry, it's very, very lightweight as well. You can just put a piece like that in your bogan and it just weighs the same as a couple of cigarettes, it's nothing. And you'll always have a nice edge on your blade. Birch polypore. Well, we've been looking around some the pine wood and we just struck gold with this big lump of resin. Can you see that? Now we're just going to get the K-bar and we're going to zip all of that off. There's loads of it in there. That's exactly what you want. You just want a couple of sparks of that and you've got yourself a fire. Right. Can you see it? It'll go nice and white when you try and prise it off. This is where you need a good strong tip on your knife. Comes in very handy. You don't want it failing here. And it's absolutely exuding behind there. In fact, it's tapped now. Yeah, now all this is the tree's had a wound at some point and it's healing itself. So this is its own antiseptic solution. And it's absolutely covered in that. And the smell, well, it's like a menthol terps. It's very, very strong. Very strong. You can see it there. Loads of it, which is cool. You're very lucky to find this stuff. can say, see the sap there. That's just liquid terps resin. It's an amazing smell. It just keeps going down and down and down. Yeah, so we're going to keep going up there. Yep, another good use for moss. It's not going to get it all off, but it will get most of it off. So this just needs to be heated up and wiped off later on. But it will get most of it off before you resheath it and carry on. Don't put it into your sheath when it's covered in the resin, because it's just going to be a bit of a nightmare for later on. But yep. We just got enough for a fire. You haven't got to go mad, you just take what you need, okay? And then good to go. I should imagine that wound in the tree will carry on providing for years to come now. So anyone can pick a bit off and get a fire going from it. There you go. Not too bad at all. Right, this is the Nalgene canteen we saw earlier. It's getting a bit low now because we've been caning the water, because it's so easy to forget to drink. Okay, so we've just been concentrating on rehydrating. So needs must. So the beauty of these, they're so light, quick and simple to use. Doesn't take long at all. All we do is you just put the filter on top and drink out of it. No messing. But the only downside of these is once these filters expire, it will stop working. So you will not be drinking contaminated water. They will just stop, and you just dispose of them. You can't wash them and reuse them. That's the only downside. If these were reusable, you would probably have one hell of a rehydration system here, because it literally is that simple. You just, I'm trying to keep this clean as possible, which actually contacts your mouth, okay? Make sure it's tight, it's not leaking. And that's it. All of the midges are coming out, by the way. It's about that time. And it comes out at a very fast rate as well. You haven't got to wait too long. Yeah, can recommend them. They're pretty cool. All we've done now is we've just gathered up some stones that were laying around. These weren't in the water. Okay. Now it's an important tip to note that if you are going to use water stones, don't. Simple as that. 9 times out of 10 they will heat up, expand and explode. Alright, and you don't want flying bits of stone shrapnel going all over the place around your nice cosy campfire. These will probably be dried. They've been up on the hills for years. There's a section of granite and sandstone there, and they're good to go, pretty good. So what we've done is we've just done a basic pit, built it up at a bit at the back to reflect some of the heat, because we're going to be sitting about 2 foot this way. You don't want it too close to where you're sitting, because you're just going to melt your kneecaps, burn the soles of your boots, etc. Just get it so it's at a comfortable level. Then you can control the flames to get the heat that you require, okay? Now this is going to be for, not really for warmth because it's got warm clothing on, but it's going to be bush time TV, as it were. And I think it's nice because, you know, we're out in the hills and you can't do this in the hills. So the beauty of having the best of both worlds this weekend is really, really cool. And some people realise cooking, prepping food and drink, etc., the importance of having flat surfaces, like here, here, here and here. It's great for putting your mug there if you just want to slowly cook it, etc. Okay, you haven't got to worry about wasting your time doing Y sticks and poles and stuff and chains. You're wasting time. Do it simple, where you just put your device near the flames and it will cook like that. It's the quickest, easiest way to do it. And we're lucky to find these stones here. We've got a nice big lump of wood which I kicked off earlier. Now I'll put that at the back because the heat is just going to dry that. Now I suspect it is got some damp and some moisture in there. So when that's nice and dry, when it goes on, Yeah, it might smoke for about 10-20 minutes. That could be a godsend because it could get rid of some midges, because it is swampy around here, and just before the sun goes down you get all the insects come out, so the smoke will say cheerio to them guys. Okay, so we're going to put that there, let it dry out, and when it's ready it goes on there, sorted, not a problem. That's going to be our main fuel for this evening. There's another dry bit in the background behind this that can go on. We're not worrying about prepping it too much, about sawing it, chopping it. Yes, it's big, we just put the whole thing on there, it will burn in half, then you've got two pieces, then you can put them together if you want to. It's just a lot easier, you don't need to expel time, energy and effort, okay? It's really straightforward, it's not hard. And that bit of resin that I collected earlier, when we're going to light the fire, we're just going to put that on top. Just light it with a lighter maybe, or a ferro rod, doesn't really matter, and it should bubble away, we can get the twigs on there going, build it up. A couple of fine pine cones on there, and that's pretty much our little fire for this evening. And it's quite set down out of the way, so we're not going to let it go outrageously huge because we don't want to be seen pretty much. So it's a nice little stealthy fire set down on a dip with a nice little seating area. It's a pretty special place actually, I'll just show you that in a sec. Right, there's the back of the fire pit which we've just been talking about, and you can see the distance there. And we got a seat, a nice spongy, very dry actually, which is pretty cool, mossy, comfortable area to sit down on. And it's down a dip, as you can see. It raises up to an angle, and you've got another wall there, so we're going to be pretty much screened away from showing loads of light. And look at that, what a view, eh? And it's going to be another clear night, so we've got stars as well. And guess what the super duper Wonder Woman has done? She's been making
Tea.
cups of tea for the troops.
And some, got some pancakes too.
Pancakes.
Pancakes dipped in coffee.
My word.
That.
Someone's going to like that and copy that, you know that, don't you? Yeah. We're not going to be bothering setting up the tents until later on. Okay, we're going to wait till it's dark, the fire's going, and then that will sort of pretty much guarantee that most of the people will have gone. Okay. So yeah, when it happens, we're just going to set our tents up. Shouldn't take too long. We've got head torches. We're going to set them on red, so we're not going to be giving away too much light and getting rid of our night vision. We're going to have another full moon, and slowly but surely you're going to see a lot of this area shade past. The west is that way when the sun is starting to set right now.
Right, it's time for something to eat. Nothing fancy. Just one of these mountain houses I've had kicking around for a while, and it's a custard with mixed fruits. Only needs 200ml of boiling water, and she's good to go. I'm trying out one of these windbreaks. Pretty insane. They're quite heavy for what they are, but you do get exactly what it says really. And also, if you're struggling with a flat surface, you can roll them out and use it. Got the idea from Sandy at Jack Claw, or Wiltshire Man. Thanks, mate. It really does work and help a lot, because as you can appreciate, the ground out there is far from flat. And there's Rambo, there she is. John J. Wimble! she's getting her
Lara Croft.
Lara Croft, yeah. Lara Croft Bush Raider. So she's going to be setting up her a lightweight tent there, and by all accounts, V was saying it doesn't take long at all really to set it up, so that's very good. Speaking of long, we got a boiler ready. Now that didn't take long, did it? That titanium gas stove is amazing, so quick.
Well, that's huge, that moon. I don't think it's going to focus. It never does. You need some really expensive camera to get detail on something like that. But we'll try. Shoot the moon.
Love in space, I dream of you. Love in space, I scream to you. Love in space.
Well, the The night time is not far away now, and it's another cool, clear, quiet evening. Except this time we've got the water, as you see at the camp we're at now. And it's got a beautiful moon, as we just saw. No doubt that's going to be rising through the evening, so we'll be looking at the moon as you do. You probably won't be able to see too much in there, it's too dark. But yeah, filming in the woods, it always gets darker before being outside. And to prove it, we're going to go outside now for a little walk around. And yeah, we feel like we're the only ones here. I'm guessing if there is any guys out there training, especially the special forces, you're not going to hear or see of them. But yeah, we feel like we're totally alone out here on this peaceful wilderness. It really is something to behold. Here's the moon again.
Now we got some nice warmth coming off of the old Bush TV now, and it's taken a while because everything is so cold and damp. It's needed so much oxygen to get that going, but finally we're just about got an established fire now. And yes, you can probably hear search and rescue once again. They've been very active over the last 24 plus hours, very active indeed. Just hope it's training and no one's in problems out there, because there's been a lot of people on the Brecon hills this weekend. Well, that's going to conclude and end of a lovely long day. Packed loads in, had a thoroughly good time. V's just turning in now. It's just coming up to 11:30 in the evening. We've got a nice full moon, a star-filled sky, and you can still see the horizons of all of the mountainscapes, and the night vision is incredible. You can see so much, it's amazing. It's about 4 to 5 degrees centigrade. Not too bad with a fire, but you do notice when you step away about 10 feet you do feel the cold. So I'm going to give this another half an hour, wait till midnight, and let's just let the fire die down and sort the rest out in the morning and turn in. So I'll bid you good night, people, and we'll see you on a new day, Sunday.
There's a star.